Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. 1M by 1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator for startups. And our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. In support of that mission, we do these roundtables, free mentoring sessions, week after week after week. This is the 408th session. We've been doing this since 2008, September, so very long journey with enormous amount of footprint, I would say. We've had over 75,000 people participate from all over the world. We've had a chance to work with so many of you, so many different ideas, so many different parts of the world. It's been fascinating, absolutely. The event is being recorded. You will find the recording of this one and all other sessions on our YouTube channel, 1M1M Roundtables. Join us on Twitter at 1M by 1M or at Shromana. We publish a lot of interesting content. The Twitter hashtag for today's session is 1M1M. So if you're live tweeting the show, please use that hashtag. Our teleconference call-in instructions are on the screen. We're not quite ready for call-in yet, but we will be. This is a roundtable, not a broadcast, so you are very welcome to call in as soon as we put this back up on. So make a note, line up your questions. We will definitely discuss. We're going to start with three entrepreneur pitches. And before we do that, I just want to set some expectations for those of you who are going to pitch. Remember, this is a safe working session. We have no other agenda but helping you, okay? So you can feel completely safe. You don't need to feel nervous. There's nobody who's trying to, do a gotcha on you. This is really a constructive session to figure out how you can remove your roadblock, how you can address things you're challenged with. The one thing that you have to keep in mind is that not all businesses can raise money, and raising money doesn't guarantee success. It is possible that you will disagree with me, with my feedback. You can do whatever you like with what you get here. It's your business. You will decide on the strategy. But you cannot argue with the fact that not all businesses are fundable. There are specific criteria for fundability, and you have to understand those. We are going to start today with Andrey Gidaspov. Andrey, please unmute your line and tell us what you're working on.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Great. So, good morning, everyone, wherever you are. My name is Andrey Gidaspov. I'm a Chief Global Development Officer for Humaniq, a startup which is actually based in London and Luxembourg. And our mission is empowering the unbanked.
Okay.
If I can continue, please. If you look at this map, you'll figure out that over 2 billion people in the world are currently unbanked, meaning they don't have access to the financial services, and that's the data from the World Bank. If you note, most of them actually located in Africa. So Humaniq has chosen Africa as our target market. Can we go next, please? There are challenges facing the financial inclusion sector. In general, we define the three here in the slide as long distances to access financial services, lack of necessary materials, documentations, and IDs, and of course, high transaction fees from banks and financial institutions. So what we offer is low to no level of education. What we offer is something which is, we think, revolutionary. We provide the bio-ID solution and connection to the world economy through our blockchain platform. If we can go next slide, please. This is some more information which we collected in terms of fintech market, but as you can see, over $100 billion has been invested in different fintech ventures for the past 7 years. Next slide, please. What really encouraged us to come up with the solution is that actually mobile penetration in emerging economies is really high, and you'll be surprised that most of this, I mean, 2/3 of this unbanked population actually have mobile phones. Very simple, but they do have access to mobile communication. Can we go next? And this is some statistics in terms of different markets. As you can see, South Africa, Ghana, and Kenya are in top 3 countries. But in general, Sub-Saharan Africa is one of the top regions in terms of mobile growth and mobile penetration in Africa. Next slide, please. And if we look at the statistic regarding the age, and we are aiming to really invest into the young generation of people in Africa. You can look at the slide and figure out that actually the 15 to 24 years, this is the segment we are targeting. Next slide, please. Here's, again, our pitch is that we are really on a worldwide mission to help the unbanked. So we like to see ourselves the company which combines the fintech, blockchain, and social good all together. We want to help these people to be connected to the services they're currently lacking. Next slide, please. So this is our solution. As I mentioned earlier, there were 3 main challenges, and we covered them. User-friendly mobile apps, very simple on the smartphone, which costs less than $20. We have our own BioID solution on the end, and the customer can just simply scan their face and be part of the system. And it's very easy to download, and the person is actively participating within the platform. Next slide, please.
Andrey, I'm going to stop you for a second. So if there's no commission, if it's a free service, then how do you make money? How does Humaniq make money?
Right, great question, Ramana. So we are acting as a platform, as a service, and we decided that we are not going to earn on those unbanked people. They have their amount of, bad luck and destiny, right? So we want to help them out. So we want to grow the user base. Currently, we have 400,000 users, and we're aiming to reach 1 million very soon, in the end of this year. So we will provide the platform for the service providers and to charge them. So it will be different financial institutions. There will be startup raising the money. There will be charities which will provide funds for the unbanked, and we're planning to have commission from those value-added service providers over the platform.
Has any of these assumptions been validated in your 400,000 user base?
Right. So as I said, 400,000 users in 16 countries in Africa, and it's growing really. It is explosive growth. And we are working with a number of first providers. For example, we just had a conversation with the company which provides the insurance for the in the healthcare sector. It's called Jamii Africa. We're a well-known company. So they provide very affordable insurance options, and so we work with them as a partner. Another one is called ScholarX, and it provides online education services to the African population, and in terms of the unbanked segment. So we will also provide this service to our customers and work with the partners in terms of revenue generation scheme. And we also work with a couple of large charities. In fact, I had a conversation with Dhritiman Foundation. We talked with Kiva and others. What we can offer to them, that we have this already checked users which are in our systems, and very often the micro lending institutions have problems with delivering the aid to the right users. So we can serve as that validator, because we have, what I wanted to mention, we have local ambassadors in each country we work. So it really helps us out because we have a pulse in the community.
Very interesting. Okay. All right.
Yep, if we can go further. So this is the system that works well, as you know, with Hotmail, when you provide some incentives to the users to join the system. And it's so it's a word of mouth as well as some of the financial incentives. We have our own cryptocurrency, which is called Humaniq, and it's trading in Bittrex and other crypto exchanges, and it's Ethereum-based ERC20 token, and we provide $20 worth of Humaniq to each new users, and it's very rewarding for them, and they also can invite their family members and their people from their network to join the system. So what happens is that it's not just a kind of a donation of $20. We are working with our partners to provide some online job opportunity for these people, so that they can easily reimburse themselves for buying a smartphone, which is usually around $20. So once they have this initial investment of $20 of Humaniq, then they can work with it. In fact, they can also take it out from the system. We have the secure exchange points, so they can get it back to the fiat currency. And so far, it's been working extremely well. If you look at the ecosystem of Humaniq, we have an open API for our partners, so any partner can easily integrate their service or application into the platform, and very easy plug-and-play integration of third-party services. We're working with a number of startups who want to join the system. In fact, one of our kind of future projects already in the progress right now is that we will provide access to funding to the startups in Africa, and so we're working on that as well. And as I said, it's built on Ethereum. It's a secure platform, and we have finance engineers working all over the world to make sure that the platform works very smooth, and so far there haven't been any problems. Just to look at what kind of services we will provide in the near future to our target population. I mentioned insurance, but we also have education, healthcare, charity. So, for example, our local ambassadors in Tanzania and a couple of other countries were working to segmentize the users and figure out what are their needs. And we found a few people who would like to use our platform as a crowdfunding platform. So we're working on providing that solution as well. Next slide, please.
I have actually a completely opposite instinct than what you're showing here of having a whole portfolio of services. I would like you to based on the stage where you are at, my instinct is to figure out one or two things that you do really well and execute it very well, including figuring out your own monetization. So what I heard, of things that I heard here, the one that I like the most actually is Grameen Bank working with you and you getting, helping them sell microcredit to this population, because credit, I'm sure, is something that they're interested in, and Grameen also needs to acquire customers, so they probably are willing to pay you, and so forth. That sounded interesting to me. Insurance is a little tricky because these people don't have the money to buy insurance, right?
Right, absolutely. No, that's what we actually, in a nutshell, we're trying to do. We're trying to select two top-level success stories, case scenarios, and build a really amazing story around it. So in the case with the micro-lending, we had really extensive conversation with Kiva as well. You know Kiva, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And one of the problems
that sounds good. I would kind of figure out how to close the loop between your population and Kiva and Grameen, and kind of get that rolling, scale that, and see how that goes, and then figure out what else.
Right. So we'll inform you about the progress of those conversations. But if you look at the project timeline, we were somewhat surprised when we did our ICO in April 2017, when we raised $5 million in ICO from over 11,000 investors, with the average investor amount about $450, and that really demonstrated that our white paper resonated with users, because if you look at the scale of nonprofits and the startups and the financial inclusion or fintech sectors, you probably won't find something like that. So people really felt that this is not only the startup which provides excellent technology and platform, but also really we're aiming to eradicate poverty. You know, we have really ambitious goals, and of course, as Dr. Grameen himself.
Where are your investors from, this ICO?
Oh, it's all over the world. So we have lots of European investors, but we have investors from America and from some of the Asian countries. But it was just I would say it was a surprise for us, because it's one of the most decentralized rounds ever for the ITOs, and so we are extremely happy. But at this point, we are moving fast in honing our system, so we're adding the different elements. Right now, as I said, we have a hybrid blockchain, BioID, we have a wallet, we have a free messenger, we are promoting referral programs among the users, and it.
How do you acquire customers?
I'm sorry?
How do you acquire customers?
So as I said, it's pretty much organic growth, because we have local ambassadors in each country, 16 countries right now. So this slide needs to be updated, but it's the word of the mouth. And I'm sorry?
What do the local ambassadors do?
Oh, the local ambassadors has worked with the community, so they converse within their networks on the internet, and they also work with communities and provide the really organic message to our target population that this is something which will benefit them in the long run. So it's been, as I said, organic growth. There's not much of marketing. It's just the system really works because people are interested to be part of. It's a little bit about our team. You know, we have our founder and CEO in London, Alex Fork. He is one of the top experts in the Bitcoin and the blockchain. And Anton Mozgovoy is in Toronto. He's the chief technical officer and technology officer, and He's been working with a number of large bank and financial institutions on the IT side, and he's one of the top evangelists of our platform. And we have pretty much the team all over the world. So we have folks in Eastern Europe, we have folks in the States, and we have people obviously in Africa working day in day. We have a really great advisory team, and most of them are really experts in the blockchain and the crypto markets, and we are looking into the future looks very bright. Look at our ambassadors. These people really believe in us, and they see that the system really help out their families, their peers, and the people in their countries. So we're really happy with that approach. And it's just the market size information. And as you can see, that's a tremendous potential, both for partners and this is just.
We understand what you're trying to do. What questions do you have? What brings you here?
Well, the question is, we are actually raising the seed round now. We want to reinvest in our technology and help out to build more. Services on top of what we have. So we're trying to raise $1 million right now, just to help out with the further expansion. As I said, our pre-valuation is about $20 million, and we're hoping that we'll have a successful A round in a year or two. So we've been working with a number of VCs and angels. We met as Team Driver recently, and some others in Silicon Valley, but we are open for investments, and I think that people would appreciate the revolutionary idea behind it, and also, as I said, the social good behind it, our platform. So we're hoping to gain your advice, Ramana, and because I really admire you, and I've been following you for so long, and I think this accelerator really helpful hub for many entrepreneurs like us to figure out what's the best solution. So now we're in an investment round, and this is #1 priority, but we're also looking for more partners and on both sides, and as a startup.
So Andrey, what is your role in the company?
Well, I'm in charge of partnerships and fundraising. Those are my 2 priorities. I'm working with various global providers.
So I'll tell you what my bias would be in terms of fundraising. You have already got $5 million through the ICO. So this company, with $5 million, for me to want to invest in this company, I would like to see how you've used the $5 million. And one thing you've done very well is set up this ambassador network and are getting app downloads and so forth. But I would like to see that loop being closed of what value are they getting. So if you could close the loop with a Grameen Bank or Kiva and show that, yeah, these people who are signing up and downloading the app and starting to use the program, they are actually getting value. They are actually getting credit, getting microcredit, and you are being paid by Kiva and Grameen and so forth to make that connection happen and make those transactions happen. That would tell me that, okay, there's a business model here, because in the presentation, that's the part that seems kind of wishy-washy to me. Is how is this company going to make money?
Right. No, it's a good point. We, as I said, we're very close to successful, the approaches with this micro-lending institutions, and we're hoping that we will be able to provide the first success stories in our on our slide. But if you just can quickly take a look at the slide, it says we actually conducted the Humaniq Global Challenge, where we invited a number of startups to participate with their ideas, how can they benefit the communities in our 16 countries. And the winners of those of this competition actually went to Kenya with us and actually building some new projects for our communities. So I agree with you. We need some more kind of success stories on the slide, and they will come soon.
So you need a sustainable business platform. And I would like to see that be from some, established companies who have budgets and who have proven business models themselves to be working with you, not just startups. So this is why I'm drawn to the Kiva Grameen kind of situation, where there is a clear benefit, and they have a clear. Those guys have a clear need to reach a certain type of people, and you are creating an opportunity of doing that efficiently. To me, that is a compelling, compelling segment pairing or segment bridging. And that, to me, I think is valuable. And I'd like to see that monetized. And I'd like to, 400,000 users is a lot of users. That's not trivial. So if you can now close that gap of actually making transactions happen, $5 million is a lot of money. So you've already raised a lot of money. Now, at the minimum, before you go out to raise more money, show me what you've done with that $5 million and show me what this business is. 400,000 users is great, but what do these users do, and how do you as a business monetize those users? That's my key takeaway.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ramana. And actually, using this opportunity, I want you to consider joining us as an advisor. So I can send you some more information later.
No, I don't do that. If you want to work with me, you're going to have to join 1Mby1M, and I'll be happy to advise you as much as you want. But everything I do is through 1Mby1M. I don't do anything outside of 1Mby1M.
Yes, we'll do it very soon. Thank you so much, Sharmana, for your time.
You're very welcome. I love what you're doing. I love the segment. I think Africa is very exciting, and I hope there's going to be a lot more interesting businesses catering to Africa, so it's great. So but however, you should not lose the discipline of, Western venture capital, so to speak. I wouldn't call it Silicon Valley venture capital. Today it's much broader than Silicon Valley venture capital. Let's call it Western venture capital, but Western venture capital has a certain disciplined, rigorous approach to building businesses. You shouldn't lose that discipline. You have a much higher chance of success if you work within that framework. And by the way, all of you folks, when I use the word Western venture capital, the rigor of Western venture capital, even if you're not raising venture capital, even if you're just bootstrapping, that rigor of Western venture capital is what we have institutionalized here in 1 million by 1 million. And if you apply that to even your bootstrap businesses, you will have a much higher chance of success. So that's why I like a rigorous, systematic business building process which focuses on fundamentals.
Right. Do we have time for questions, Sharmana, or that's close?
We will have time for more questions. If you just hold on for a bit, let's do the other two presentations, and then we'll come back to doing more questions.
Thanks so much for your time, and I appreciate everyone's attention.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's go to Mukesh Lagadhir. Are you on the call, Mukesh? Ahmedabad, India. Mukesh?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
You can hear me, right? Hello?
Yep.
Sorry for the sloppy presentation. I don't get much time, but I got a chance to create a couple of slides for you. So let me introduce first the business what we are in, right?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay. So
yes, please go ahead.
We have created a platform. Okay, we have created a platform where we can convert the existing paper form into the digital documents or fillable form, right? So let's say that if you are in healthcare or a construction business, we deal with lot of forms, lots and lots of paper forms. So what we are doing here is we are converting those forms to the digital forms, and anybody, I mean, into that organization, any person can fill those documents from the web or from the mobile, whether they are on internet or whether they are offline. So that is the business model we have done.
Keep going.
Okay, so our main business target is like healthcare, construction, and the heating and cooling industry. Basically, wherever you can see the paper form, and wherever there is a field work that the person is filling a form, our solution can be applied. And the major aspect of our platform is form filling and the approval flow. We have automated the approval flow. If you see right now that paper is going from one desk to another desk, right? And it's a manual process. So into our platform, we have converted that manual process to the automatic process. And right now we are seeing USA and UK as a target market, and we are doing marketing into these two markets only.
What evidence do you have that UK and the US markets have a lot of paper form moving around?
Right. So this is our product, and before that, for 8 years, we are doing the software development. So we are a software solution provider as well. And we are.
Did you understand my question?
Sorry?
Did you understand my question? I asked you what evidence do you have that US and UK markets have a lot of paper pushing going on?
Right. That is what I am explaining. That since couple of years, we are seeing that their industries, like particularly if I am giving you example, Havik, right? Their heating and cooling industry, where their engineers right now is going to one home, right? They have the paper form, and they fill that form. That form can be like customer's report. It can be equipment report. So those are the customer forms that customer needs to fill and engineers needs to fill. Secondly, there is industry. I mean, there are the companies and there are the machines. So engineer is going to that machine and taking readings from that machine. That what is the kiln size, and all that readings are going manually right now. So a couple of industries have automated that form, and there are many competitors who are doing the same into this market. But we have come up with the solution that is unique in itself. So if you see the competition right now, that is yeah. So right now, if you see, there are lots of companies which is doing the responsive forms. Like you can fill the form from the mobile and it adjusts as the mobile. But what we have done is right now, if you see, all the engineers are in a stage that they like their form. I mean, the look and feel is important for them, right? So we use that as a base. I mean, you can see your PDF or paper form into the mobile, same look and feel, same GUI, and you can use that form to fill that form. Secondly, you can fill it on the online or offline. I mean, if you don't have the internet, this scenario is for like for countries or for a location where you don't have the internet availability. So you can fill the form offline, and that will sync to the cloud application automatically when you have the online. And second unique point is we have added the approval flow. Like your forms, you can define the approval flow. Like this form is submitted by me, it should go to the manager. From the manager, it should go to the financial person, and from that, it should go to the CEO if this passed the approval. So we have automated that flow.
And the other companies don't have that kind of workflow?
Other companies have that kind of workflow, but that don't have the full solution. That don't have the visual designer for the form. Some company has the visual designer for the form. Like if you see the Adobe Reader, right? They have the best PDF solutions. They have the best PDF solutions, but they lack the approval flow. Some companies like Seamless Government, they have the approval flow, but they are working on the responsive forms. So
okay, let's these 15 customers that you have acquired are UK customers. Where are these customers from?
It's from USA.
From US.
Right.
And what kind of, they're all HVAC companies?
Few are HVAC company, two is roofing company, and one or two is plumbing company, and few are from construction. So mainly from the fieldwork companies.
And how are you acquiring these customers?
Right now, from the email marketing, we have the database where we are sending the emails to this customer. We have the specific database for this kind of companies from bbb.org. We have got this database, so we have this information from.
So you bought an email list that consists of HVAC and construction companies and roofing companies, and you are marketing to them and trying to get them to buy your product.
Right, exactly.
How big is the database?
It's I guess for the Havec, there are 500 users into the list for one city. So that is, I mean, that is the marketing team that is handling, but that's a huge database we are having. So.
So 500 you have a 500 company database for HVAC. So this is, by the way, this is what you need to spend time on, is figuring out how are you going to acquire customers. So 15 customers is great. The fact that you have 15 paying customers is fantastic. And you're saying you have a $70 per month per customer kind of average deal size, yes?
Per 10 user. I mean, for a user, it's $7.
Understood. But if for the 15 customers, an average customer is about $70 per month kind of deal?
That is fine. I mean, as a starting, we just started the product. I mean, it's just 2 months right now.
So how much are you making per customer right now? The 15 customers, how much are you making from them?
Around 2,000 to 3,000. I mean, all are not taking 10 users. Some are taking 5 users. Some are taking 3 users.
So all total, you're making 2,000 per
Right.
month out of the 15 customers.
Right.
Okay, good. So, and do you have to talk to these people on the phone, or are they based on email marketing? Are they converting, or do you have a telesales also on top of that?
It's email marketing right now, and there is I mean, we are supporting the Skype chat as well. So if he is a customer, right? So we provide the support via Skype as well. For the technical, right now technical support is free. I mean, we are a small industry and small group, so right now we are providing the technical support for free as well. And this
yeah,
is like,
but to close a deal, do you have to talk to these people, or they're converting just based on online marketing?
For users, we need to talk to them. We need to give the demo to them, right? And after a couple of weeks, they converted to the customer. And rest of them directly went to the website, our marketing website, see our demos and see our tutorials and everything. And I mean, they are aware of the business. I mean, they are daily using the paper forms, so they know their issues. And they use the solution, tried the solution. We provide the 15 days trial, so they tried the solution and they converted to the customers.
Interesting. All right. And so is it a particular region of America that you're marketing to currently?
San Francisco right now.
San Francisco, I see, okay. All right. So this 500, the list of 500 that you're working with right now is a San Francisco list?
Not only San Francisco, because these are from USA, right? And we are doing marketing into the San Francisco, and this list is based on that state only. But we are assuming that
that's what I'm saying. The list that you have bought, the list that is converting for you, this is a 500 name list for San Francisco.
Right. We have the list for US. I mean, for the entire USA, we have the list. But our marketing team is doing marketing statewide. I mean, we are doing the into the one state, and we are doing we are going to start the Google and LinkedIn campaign as well. So region-wise, we are going to target the customer, and that way, I mean, there is a mouth-to-mouth marketing as well. That if into that region, our system is right.
Okay. So, all right. What are your questions? I understand what you're trying to do. What are your questions?
Right. First of all, I would like to get your thoughts on this business model, and especially this business we are doing. So that is my question for you.
So the issue that I'm looking to understand, and you should look to understand, is can you close these deals online by just marketing and not having to get on the phone? Because the price point is very low. It's a marketing price point. It's not a sales price point. So, so either you're going to have to close these deals purely on marketing, or you will need to do larger deals in the sense that, let's say you know, $70 a month, if that's your average, let's say $50 a month is your average. So that's about a $600 a year kind of deal. You're going to need to understand the profitability from scaling this. If you want to get 10,000 customers and you have to talk to every single one of them, what does that do to your operation? What kind of an operation do you need to be able to scale that? And what does that operation cost? So, but if you can figure out a way to be able to close these deals without having to talk to them, with people just converting themselves through marketing, then it's a great business. But that is one of the critical issues that you're going to need to figure out. Make sense?
Right. Understood. Makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's going to be the kind of making or breaking of the business, because if you can't close these deals profitably, then you don't have a sustainable business. Then you can generate revenues, but you can't generate profitable revenues, and that business is not a business. So that's what I would focus on figuring out.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Okay. Good execution so far. Very good execution.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right. We're going to move to Dhritiman Banerjee from Princeton, New Jersey. Dhritiman, please unmute your line.
Hi, Shramana.
Hello.
Hi. Firstly, thanks for inviting me on this platform. We are a nonprofit, so slightly different from the other two pitches that preceded me. But to talk about Kolkata Foundation, essentially the idea is to create a global platform to fight poverty in Kolkata. And sort of the idea being that, many of us from Kolkata, and I know you're also from Kolkata, so you understand the problem well, is people have done well individually, but there still continues to be crushing levels of poverty with millions of people without access to basic health care and education and just terrible living conditions. So the idea was to create a global platform which allows people to work in a synchronized, efficient manner. The inspiration came from a New York nonprofit called Robin Hood, which Eric Schmidt talks about as one of the most effective poverty-fighting organizations in the world. But the idea is that you find the best nonprofits in Kolkata. So without trying to set up your own feet on the ground in Kolkata, you find the best nonprofits and you help them scale their impact, not just by providing funds, by providing guidance, mentoring. To some extent, it's similar to what you've been doing with 1Mby1M, but a much, much smaller, focused on one geography, because that's where I'm from, but also because it makes the logistics simpler, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So focused on the area and find the best anti-poverty ideas from around the world and help establish these or implement these in Kolkata through these nonprofits. So really be a bridge for global nonprofits to come and establish their presence back in Kolkata. If you go back a slide, okay. And so the idea there was, and I think you're probably aware of it, but as I've talked to people from Clinton Foundation or America India Foundation or many of these places, this is quite a bit of work going on in India. Almost none of it makes its way back to Kolkata, possibly because there's no representation at the table, possibly for other reasons. But I think, so the idea was if we could be the bridge for between the world and sort of people who are trying to actually fight poverty in Kolkata. So we're very focused on that one goal. In terms of to go based on your template, who our clients are really, or customers are really people from Kolkata who are in a position to give back and want to make a difference by giving back. So that's sort of our target client base. I talked about the fact that there's been very little global attention given to the poverty in Kolkata since Mother Teresa. I want to talk a little bit about sort of why sort of the whole principle behind Kolkata Foundation is that you do have a natural target market, which is Calcuttans, people from Calcutta, very similar to college alumni networks that, presumably have some affinity, would like to give back. And the second is that it makes monitoring and governance quite easy. People go back to Kolkata, you have relatives out there, you can do site visits. Most importantly, we understand the context and you understand what might work, what might not work, and so on and so forth. I think the third bit where I've been fairly lucky with is actual partnerships with organizations within Kolkata, people who run malls, who run realty companies, so on and so forth. There's a group of philanthropists called Kolkata Gives who've been organizing annual fundraisers in Kolkata, mostly Marwari businessmen who've done extremely well in life themselves and are looking to get into philanthropy. And over the last 2 years that I've been working with them, it's been nice that we've been able to align our vision and actually work side by side on this. So starting to put together a team in terms of in Kolkata, we have the ex-CFO of Axis Bank, Somnath Sengupta, who's leading the effort. My dad, who was a CEO for many years, is also involved. But on the governance side, I think in the U.S. we have the retired treasurer, the retired CFO of the third largest nonprofit in the U.S., HMI, as our treasurer. So that's on the governance side. In terms of where we are, we've actually, working with Kolkata Gives, we went through 200 nonprofits. We've zoomed in on 3 that are doing quite exceptional work that we're looking to fund in our current year. And the goal is to help 20. So the first one is called Rural Healthcare. I actually sent a little bit more information. I wasn't sure how to provide that in the context of these sites, so I apologize. I sent a lot more information to Maureen Kelly. She can perhaps forward to you. The first one is called Rural Healthcare.
This is your opportunity to discuss, so you have to cover everything here.
I will.
So go ahead. What are the 3 nonprofits?
So the first one is called Rural Healthcare. It's started by a couple of Marwari businessmen who used to be in the realty business. What they've done is they've actually established really effective, scalable, low-cost primary health care where a patient can go and get a doctor's visit plus free medicines for a week. And from the donor's perspective, they pay $1. So the patient pays $1, the donor pays $1. Over the last 9 years, they've scaled up. They've treated 1.7 million patients. They recently had a 6-month study done by Yale. There was a Harvard Business School study on sort of low-cost frugal innovation. So that's the first one that we are trying to fund. Our goal is to fund 20,000 patients. So that's $20,000. The second one is actually out of a slum in Tikiapara, where a person named Mamun Akhtar has this organization called Samaritan Help Mission. And what he's done is he himself never finished schooling beyond 7th grade, but over the last 10 or 12 years, he's actually transformed the entire Tikiapara community by building a school for 5,000 children. And now he's building a second school. So not only has he built the school, in addition, inside that compound, he's put together a medical dispensary. He's gotten clean water. He's gotten banks to come and kind of provided banking to these people. He's having volunteers fill out insurance forms so these kids can join in the Konyasri program and so on and so forth. And he's trying to do that again in another slum called Bakra, 10 kilometers away. And so our goal is to fund 1,000 children's education, and there it costs $25 a year for these children to get education for the whole year. It's an English medium school. So that's $25,000. And the third is we're working with this organization called Hamari Muskan, which works inside Shonagachi and Bowbazar, to really provide a safe shelter and a chance for children of sex workers so that these kids themselves don't get lost to trafficking, human trafficking. Right? So they've been doing it for 9 or 10 years, and right now they're at 250 children. So our goal is to provide sort of psychotherapists, the cost of psychotherapy, nutrition, and remedial education for 250 children via Hamari Muskan, and there the cost is $30,000. And we are actually, specifically for Hamari Muskan, but also for the other two, we are also trying to figure out how we help them grow. So grow from 250 children to 1,000 children or 2,000 children, because no matter what we do, you sort of just not even scratching 1% of the actual scope of the problem in these areas. So those are the 3 organizations that we are actually funding right now in year 1. There are a few others, but since we aren't sure about how much we'll be able to raise, that's our current focus. Our year 1 goal is $75,000.
Right. You know, the kinds of organizations, so one of the organizations that I am close to, I know them very well, is Future Hope. You may have heard of them. There's a guy called Tim Granbridge who takes children off the streets and gives them homes and raises them basically in a home kind of environment, funds their schooling, and he's been working for 20-some years. He was a former Hong Kong Shanghai Bank executive, and he's done very well. He's built a wonderful organization. I've visited them and so on and so forth. So this,
and they're in Kolkata?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
That's Kolkata, and then there are a bunch of rural organizations. There are in my family we have my father founded a chapter of Rotary International, and they use the Rotary system to create partnerships with various Rotary clubs in different parts of the world and co-fund. They raise money, and then Rotary has a matching fund structure. So they fund all kinds of organizations, especially rural development is something that they are very big into. There's an organization called Dhritiman in Purulia that does a lot of rural development work. There's an organization called Nishtha that they work with. So all these there are a whole lot of model village type of stuff. They have doctors as part of their program where there's a eye surgeon who goes and does free operations and stuff like that.
Right.
So there's no shortage of organizations. One thing that you will see as you and you may already have figured out, and we're going to talk about it, but I'll just ask you the question. For the U.S. market, you're trying to raise money from non-resident Indians, particularly
Correct.
American or America-based Indians. There is the issue of tax breaks, right? Here,
Correct.
if you donate to a fund, donate to a nonprofit, you get tax write-offs. And this is one of the things that most Calcutta nonprofits are not set up to receive funding in that mode. So
Indeed.
are you creating some sort of a mechanism for that? So if somebody gives you, $500, can you provide them with the tax write-off?
Yeah, so we are a 501c3 based in the U.S., and the organizations we are funding in India have FCRA approvals. Many of the ones we couldn't fund because they didn't have FCRA approvals, but the ones we are funding do have FCRA approvals, which allow them to get the funds from the U.S. and put it together. But I think the other aspect of it, just from the transparency perspective, we are suggesting is that they open up a separate bank account or a sub-account where our funds are deposited, so we get a fairly clear picture of where the funds are going. So, with the entire idea of actually trying to get these organizations to be as transparent as possible so that they can be presented before a Clinton Foundation. Because part of the goal is not really to raise money from people from Calcutta, but us becoming the evangelists and trying to use people and their connections to be the bridge and talk about these and say, hey, look, there are people who are doing good work in Calcutta, and would you like to come and check them out? And perhaps
your thesis is right, that people who are from Calcutta have a desire to give back to Calcutta, and there are people who are making substantial amounts of money and can fund. If you can, it's like crowdsourcing, right? You don't have to.
Correct.
One person doesn't have to give huge amounts, but if people get into the habit of giving a little bit, each person is in the habit of giving a little bit, you would be able to harness quite a bit as long as these tax issues are sorted out.
The tax issues are sorted out. I think if you go to our website and make a donation, you get an immediate sort of acknowledgement, which you can be used for tax purposes. So we are 501c3. That was one of the things that we got done last year.
So what brings you here? Let's accelerate a bit and tell me what are you trying to do?
So I think goals are, I talk about the goals. Our goals are really to raise $75,000 to $100,000 and get 100 P2P campaigns going on within individuals, where they're really becoming Kolkata Foundation volunteers, helping spread the message and collect money from friends, neighbors, and so on and so forth. I think the questions I had for you are really, how do we accelerate growth in terms of what sort of, in the previous slide, if you go back a slide, I talk about the channels that I am using to go back 2 slides. I apologize. So spreading the word, I've been trying to reach out to Bengali associations and around North America and try to help get them on board, reach out to the Dean of
Are they coming on
Alumni
board?
Affairs. There's some conversations going. We actually had our video playing at the North American Bengali Conference that happened in Atlantic City a month back. I spoke to the alumni meetings for Presidency College and IIT Kharagpur and so on and so forth. There was some interest. Again, to me, this is new because I don't really know how to measure the metrics. Like if I talk to 100 people, how many would I expect to sign up and all? But that is something that I'm trying to figure out. That said, I'm trying to also get your insights on so in terms of reaching out, I think those are the 2 things I'm doing. And then through Facebook, we are actually trying to reach people who went to schools and colleges in Calcutta and are affiliated with Calcutta. So I'm getting some free Facebook credits from a friend of mine who's also from Kolkata, who's a Facebook employee, and so on and so forth. And our strategy for corporations and foundations is really to go through individuals from Calcutta who are in positions of influence to make introductions, and so on and so forth. So the question for you is, going on to slide number 50, is really, what other ways are there to spread the message? What other ways are there to accelerate growth?
So I think it's very individual specific. The kind of people that you are looking for are people who obviously are in positions of influence with roots in Calcutta, but are also looking to give, are at a stage of life where they're looking to give and have not yet made their bets.
Correct.
Right? So, and that last point is very important because, and I'll just contrast myself with in that context. My hands are full, I don't have time to do this. But there are other people who haven't made as big bets, who are looking for platforms through which to engage, to give back, and so forth. And those are the ones that you're going to need to find to see how they want to get involved and how, and if you can find 50, 100 of those are going to be the pillars of building this organization for you. So you're doing the right things. You're going to the Bengali associations and finding those, trying to find those peoples and the alumni networks and trying to find those peoples. There are probably certain types of organizations that have more of these than others. For example, Narendrapur. Right. Because the students of Narendrapur, people who have alumni of Narendrapur are groomed. These are people who have been raised with the philosophy of Vivekananda and all that. So right. There you will find a natural inclination towards philanthropy.
Makes sense. Makes sense. That's a good idea, actually.
And that may not be as prevalent in a St. Xavier's, for instance, where that grooming doesn't exist.
Right.
So I would, if I were you, I would go, and these days one thing that has happened due to social media is all these alumni groups have WhatsApp groups, right, correct, or Facebook groups. So all you need to find on Facebook or on WhatsApp are the people who are running these groups for different classes of Narendrapur and so forth. So each class usually has a group. The alumni, the school itself may have a group. Like for instance, I am trying to right now. I went to Gokhale Memorial, and we have a centenary coming up in 2020. And I'm trying to help them build an alumni association. There's no alumni association. There is a very fledgling alumni association that doesn't really have much organization and so forth. So, so one of the things that I've taken on for the next 2.5 years is to help the school develop an alumni association and a platform through which to do further work. So, but in the process, I understand that, you know, every class has a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group. And we're trying to build the consolidated formats right now. So we have on Facebook, we have 2,500 people who have come together and so forth. So I would kind of start in a way from a, you know, in building startups, and you're doing a startup, whether it's a nonprofit or for-profit, you're doing a startup. So the thing to think about is, where do you get the fastest set of results by doing the expending the minimum energy? And my gut says Narendrapur may be that.
Got it. Okay.
And Narendrapur has very successful alumni. You know, and these may not be in some cases these are high-flying successful alumni, but in some cases they may not be the biggest successes. But, you know, anybody who's let's say has a successful mid-level engineering career in Silicon Valley and has roots in Narendrapur is your target audience. And if you can get 100 of those, word will spread. I don't know what is Narendrapur's alumni base, but I'm sure you have in your network, in your social network, I'm sure you know people who have gone to Narendrapur. I certainly do. These are people who you should go talk to and figure out how to navigate that network. And that may be, you know, your first 100 people, these ambassadors, individuals, etc. This may be a perfect place for you to go.
It certainly could, and I think it is growing. I think I wish it were growing faster, but I think it is. I mean, it's sort of the network is growing as we go along, and I think people are coming on board because there is a desire to give back. And people in the past have always wanted some way to do it effectively without sort of writing a check and then forgetting about it and not really knowing what really happens. So that's the hope, that, you know, the feedback loop and doing it in a very systematic, sustained manner can help make a difference.
The thing that you should pay attention to are the social network around your social networks, right? So the advantage of school groups is that if you can get one ambassador who is going to champion you into a particular school group, that means that you're getting 30, 40 people, which is the peer group of that person, to come on board and become, you know, players in your network. So if you can recruit 100 individuals from different classes, different schools, etc., you are bringing, you know, you're kind of bringing together, you know, 4,000, 5,000 people right there or more.
Right.
So,
makes sense.
So that's the thing that you need to pay attention to. Now, I see your list, Kharagpur and all that, and I'm sure there are people, you know, but I think at some level I feel like your organizing principle being something a bit more esoteric may yield better, where there is more grooming, more psychographic fit oriented towards giving.
Got it. And by the way, I mean, I think Jewish organizations have done this for years and years, and you're right, that they actually have a very strong grooming to give
orientation.
Back.
They have the orientation. The Jewish culture has an orientation towards giving, so they know that they have to give to feel good about themselves and be regarded in the community and so forth. And to be perfectly honest, Bengalis don't have that.
They don't. I think that's sort of the bet. That's sort of the kind of, you know, when I started this, to be perfectly honest, that's the question mark in the whole thing, right? Like how, there's a certain fraction that do give back, but I don't know what that fraction is. And that's where
and that's why I'm giving you all these insights on psychographics. Right. You know, in marketing, psychographic is incredibly important. And if you go to a psychographic that doesn't have that orientation, you're not going to have as much success. But if you go towards psychographics that do have that orientation, and I can't think of, frankly, I cannot think of a better place than the Ramakrishna Mission schools, like Narendrapur, like Purulia, all these, you know, schools that have been built under the auspices of the Ramakrishna Mission and the, you know, Vedantic philosophy.
Absolutely. No, I think that's brilliant advice. That's really useful.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Well, good luck. Good luck.
Sure.
And by the way,
to the extent that you can pass on the message to, you know, friends and the thing, would certainly appreciate it. One last request, Shobana. One of our goals was to actually be the bridge of exceptional ideas that are successful elsewhere in the world in fighting poverty. I know you're in the hub of a lot of good ideas. So if at all you find something that you think might have applicability to Kolkata, we certainly appreciate you just kind of connecting.
This is something that I'm happy to do for you. So Future Hope you should absolutely contact and put them on your partnership list, because I mean, I know them very well. They do fantastic work. And Tim Grandage is a superb leader. They're doing superb work. The folks at Nandritam are doing very good work. These guys are out of the Ramakrishna Mission system. They were the head of Nandritam was groomed by Lokesharananda Maharaj at you know, Ramakrishna Mission. So again, well vetted and so forth. So so what I could do is connect you with my father in Calcutta, and you can basically pick up the list that his Rotary chapter has already vetted and are working with, and you can just add them onto your roster. Then you don't have to do all this extra vetting work.
Perfect.
And all of them are good ideas.
I think that'll be quite useful. Sounds good.
I'll be happy to do that.
Thank you.
So send me an email requesting that introduction, and I'll just forward it to you, and you should be on your way.
Okay, sounds good. I'll send it to Maureen, or should I? I think I have your email directly.
Anyway, either way is fine. Well, it'll get to me.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good. Folks, if you like what we're doing here, please spread the word and bring serious entrepreneurs into the program. This is a great platform that has been very effective, and we've been doing this for more than 8 years now, and we just need more serious entrepreneurs. And the word serious is in bold for a reason, right? It's a tremendous amount of work to build anything. Any kind of organization, any kind of business, any kind of startup is incredibly difficult to build, and you need very high degree of seriousness to make it work. So resources-wise, everything is at 1Mby1M.com. You will find a terrific blog that we recommend that you follow to learn. The Entrepreneur Journeys book series, there are 12 volumes of those. That could be also a good learning platform for you. All the books are on Amazon, and you could double-click on specific topics, bootstrapping with a paycheck, or bootstrapping using services, cloud computing, etc., billion-dollar unicorns. These roundtables happen every week. You're welcome to come to any of them, all of them, as many of them as you want to. The full acceleration program from 1 million by 1 million is 1M1M Premium. You get extensive methodology guidance. You have an online curriculum that you can do at your own time that will plug most of your methodology gaps in building a startup and putting one foot before the other. The curriculum is working phenomenally well. We have incredibly good feedback from the curriculum, so you're very welcome to use the curriculum. We help you with business development. We have strategy consulting, similar sessions like what you experienced here today, but these are members only, premium sessions. And then we also help you with financing, and we help you with media relations. We have a lot of clout in the media, and we have a tremendous network of investors. But one caveat, not just by joining the program, you cannot get introduced to investors. You have to become fundable by our judgment And if you are fundable, and that has a whole set of parameters, will help you learn that, will help you figure all that stuff out. Now, if you do get to the point where you are fundable, we're happy to make those introductions. Go to the website and use the 1M self-assessment. It's a free set of questions that will help you frame your strategy. And good strategic planning helps you not futz around and be very focused, laser focused, and execute on the things that will yield. That will yield revenues, that will yield customers, that will yield validation, that will yield valuation. All of those need to be strategically mapped out. And that's what the self-assessment will help you do. If you get stuck on methodology points, just go do 1M basic for a month or 2 months or 3 months, whatever. That's just a $99 curriculum-only subscription. If you spend sufficient amounts of time doing the curriculum, you will plug your methodology gaps. So anyway, go dig around on the website. It's very well furnished. You will find answers to most of your questions on the website. There are FAQs, video FAQs, description of the curriculum, description of every aspect of the program. And it is a case study-based program. We have over 800 successful entrepreneurs who are doing this. And these are, it includes 50+ unicorn entrepreneurs, 400+ venture-funded companies, 350+ bootstrap success stories, and you get to learn how they've done it, learn their tactics and strategies and nuances, and you basically get to stand on the shoulder of giants. And it's incredibly effective. And that's all delivered in video lectures and case studies. Our philosophy is bootstrap first, raise money later. You don't have to raise money. You can bootstrap all the way. That's fine too. But if you want to raise money, typically you have to bootstrap first and raise money later, unless you have done it before. If you're a serial entrepreneur with track record, sometimes you do get away with not having to bootstrap first, raise money later. So that's it. We have 4 more roundtables in August. Those are the summer sessions, the remaining summer session. In the middle of August, we have 1 week where we're not doing roundtables. I'm actually going to be in India for a couple of weeks. And then we have 2 meetups, you know, the usual rendezvous that we have in Menlo Park, Cafe Boroni. So August 7th and August 29th, and happy to meet you there. That's it. We have time for Q&A, further Q&A, and please call in or use the public chat to ask your questions, and I'll be happy to take more questions. And while you're lining up your questions, let me also introduce you to Irina Patterson, irina@1mby1m.com. Irina will be happy to answer any of your questions about the 1M1M program. All right, questions?
I had a very simple one. Is your email sramona@1mby1m.com?
It is.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else? Questions, comments? Issues, introductions. Feel free to also use the public chat to introduce yourselves, tell us what you're doing, what project are you working on, where are you dialing from, and how did you get to 1 million by 1 million? You know, it's always interesting for me to hear what brings you here. How? Where do you find out? Where did you find out about 1 million by 1 million? And what brings you here? Anybody?
I'll go. So Dhritiman Banerjee, I'm currently sitting in New York. I work at a hedge fund responsible for their data. And, you know, I've sort of part of the work for Kolkata Foundation has been to bring together the most established people from Kolkata. So I was sort of looking around and I came across your profile, and through that learned about all the work you've been doing. So
okay, very good. So you're doing what we call bootstrapping with a paycheck.
Bootstrapping with a paycheck, absolutely. I have done a couple of others where I tried bootstrapping with a paycheck. Couple of them didn't go as well. One did well. We did a startup out of Bell Labs that got acquired in 2004 by Sienna. So that was a nice acquisition.
And you're based in New Jersey or in New York?
Yes. And now I'm based in Princeton, New Jersey.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good.
Sharmani, if I can add, this is Andrey. I really enjoy reading your LinkedIn articles as well as links to your website. And also, I'm meeting a lot of entrepreneurs here in the greater DC area, and I would love to share what your site and your source actually can do for them. I'm part of various groups here, and I think what you've done is already tremendous and impactful, but I think we can do more, and I'll certainly refer the young entrepreneurs to your network so they can gain all this knowledge.
That sounds great.
Thank you.
That's the kind of referral that we are always looking for, and that's how we have built our community. Now, every year, about 500,000 people touch the 1 million by 1 million platform. And as you know, on LinkedIn, I have a very big following, over 360,000 followers. So we have been able to get our word out there, get our message out there, and it's purely because of people like you, talking about it, and social media and so on and so forth. So yes, absolutely, very, very welcome help on that front.
Thank you very much. That's very useful advice.
It's been a very great roundtable today, actually. I really enjoyed all your projects, and these social impact projects are of great interest for me. So, I love these kinds of projects, and 1 million by 1 million itself, as you know, is a major social impact project. So, I very much have that bent. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's see. Vajanti Kulkarni is asking, I have a curiosity question. How do you find the potential market for 1M apart from roundtables? Is it a check on hits on website per region, country? Vajanti, we have been completely organic. So our social media presence is pretty significant across all the platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter in particular, and then Meetup a little bit, and so on and so forth. So LinkedIn is our biggest platform. And we kind of publish on LinkedIn. I was one of the earliest LinkedIn influencers, and in 2015, LinkedIn put me on their top 10 influencer list, where number 1 was Bill Gates, number 2 was Richard Branson, and I was number 10. And as a result, our presence on LinkedIn is huge. And so it's basically, social media. It's whoever comes, whoever finds us and a lot of people are finding us. So, like Maureen is asking you to feel free to like, comment, and share Sharmana's posts on LinkedIn. That is always a big help. There you go. So if you like something, if you're reading something on LinkedIn from our platform, just like them and share them and so forth, and that's very helpful. My blog was very well known. I started blogging in 2005, and the blog was very well known. I used to write for Forbes for 3 years. I had a column on Forbes. That was a big platform. So it's been mostly online content that has brought our community together and continues to be online content and social media distribution. And of course, word of mouth, huge word of mouth. So Mukesh, you're asking when am I coming to India? I'm coming to India in August, but I will not be in Ahmedabad. I'm actually going to Delhi for a day. I'm taking my parents to Varanasi for 5 days, And I'm going to Calcutta for 5 days, and that's about it. So you're very welcome to meet me here at these sessions every week. When people ask me how often are you in Bangalore, my answer is I'm in Bangalore every week because people from Bangalore show up at these roundtables every week. See, what we are trying to do is not scalable in person. It has to be done virtually. And as a result, we can work with companies in Africa, we can work with companies in Latin America, we can work with companies in the heartland of India. We get people from everywhere, not just the big cities. We get people coming from Srinagar and Siliguri and whatnot. And the only way we can do that is by doing this virtually. Sham, would you be interested in series on patents? What does that mean? I don't understand the question. Sham, if you elaborate on your question, I will try to answer it. I don't understand the question. Mukesh, by the way, we get a lot of people coming here from Ahmedabad, so definitely share the message in your social network and professional network in Ahmedabad and ask more entrepreneurs to come. We do have entrepreneurs in the program from Ahmedabad. And Gujaratis tend to be very entrepreneurial, so I actually like entrepreneurs from Ahmedabad for that reason. Again, it's a great psychographic from an entrepreneurial tendency point of view. You were expecting that. And on the counterpoint of that is that where I come from, which is Calcutta, Bengalis, and I'm Bengali, Bengalis are not natural entrepreneurs. Sham says, okay, I was thinking if one has an idea, how can one go about from a financial standpoint? Oh, everything is covered in 1M1M basic. So in the curriculum, 1M1M basic or premium, you can access the curriculum and just follow the blueprint. We have created all of that blueprint. Mukesh says, was not expecting that. You were not expecting that kind of candor? Blunt candor? I'm known for blunt candor. You've been following me since 2010 and have not had a breakthrough into entrepreneurship yet. So Sham, I think since you're following me from 2010, it's time that you take the leap and start doing the basic curriculum and get the methodology under your belt. There's a very clear methodology, and if you start doing the curriculum, you will start getting ideas. There are lots of case studies. You need to kind of understand those case studies and the methodology that those case studies support, and then take it from there. I think, 2010 to 2018 is a long time. Now, since obviously you have an interest in entrepreneurship at this point, take the plunge and get the methodology under your belt and start getting to an idea and start building. And you can keep your job and do it with bootstrapping with a paycheck, but you have to follow the methodology. If you don't follow methodology, it's hard for us to put you on a track. A blueprint is tremendously helpful, and what we have tried to do is create a blueprint, and it's working. I can guarantee you that this blueprint is working. You find my comments about Calcutta funny. Okay, who else? What other questions, comments, feedback, introductions do you have? All right, seems like we have answered everybody's question. By all means, come back, join the program, start working on your specific projects. If you're already along the way, start using the methodology, start using the blueprint, and we are very happy to help you. Bye. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next week. Mukesh, how can we get attention on global market? Well, we went over your customer acquisition strategy. If you were to join 1 million by 1 million, I would work with you most of all on your customer acquisition strategy. So if you need help with fine-tuning your customer acquisition strategy, by all means join the program and I'll be happy to coach you on that. There are, again, specific blueprints, specific methodology. In our program, we use something called Sales 2.0 for B2B marketing and sales. That's what I would have you implement, and you need to really figure out if you can do that profitably in your target market and how to do that profitably and so forth. So I'll, that would be the starting point where I would start you off and then build on top of that. Okay, thank you for coming. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Sham, that's another question. Okay, from your experience, what is the main motivation factor to be an entrepreneur? Is it to be one's own boss? Financial independence may be not so evident in the early years. Financial independence is not evident in the early years. It's to build something of your own, giving form to your vision, being your own boss. All of those are, reasonable motivations. If you're a pure mercenary, it's not easy to be successful as an entrepreneur. There are very significant time frames that you have to commit where finance is not a great incentive. So unless you have other motivations, other more missionary motivations, it is very difficult to get through those tough years when you're not financially successful. That's why mercenaries don't do so well as entrepreneurs. Okay, does anybody have any other question, or am I free to go now? All right, well, take care, good luck, make lots of progress, see you soon. Bye.